Rolling down the highway, chasing the sun. Larry's at the wheel, got the engine on the run. Salty's got the playlist, singing it out loud. Another open road, another brand new town. From the mountains high to the oceans deep, they're living the dream, they ain't losing sleep. With a passport full and a tank of gas, they ain't slowing down, they ain't looking back. They fly through the skies, using the breeze. Roll down the road, feeling so free. Ride the waves where the sunsets go. Forever Huffs living, wherever they go. Cruising down the coastline, drinking their hands, dancing on the deck to a steel drum band. Larry's cracking jokes, making new best friends. Saucy's snapping pictures, cause the fun won't end. From the northern lights to the streets of Rome, everywhere they go they make it their home. With the world so big and their hearts so wide, they'll keep on moving till the end of the ride. They fly through the skies, using the breeze. Roll down the road, feeling so free. Ride the waves where the sunsets go. Forever Huffs living, wherever they go. No map, no plan, just a ticket in hand. They'll follow the stars and the golden sand. Every new town, another great story. Living this life in all of its glory. They fly through the skies, chasing the breeze. Roll down the road, feeling so free.
You got the money going.
Ride the waves where the sunsets go. Forever Huffs living, wherever they go. So if you see them on by, give them a wave. They're chasing adventure, they're feeling brave. Larry and Saucy, hearts open wide. Forever Huffs living, enjoying the ride.
Good evening, Nancy.
Hey, Miss Nancy, we saw you in there. You're the first one. Woo-hoo. Hey, Miss Nancy gets a ding-a-ling for being the first one in here and the first one speaking. We're glad you're here. Yeah, glad you're here. We're hoping some more folks come in too. And we'll talk about whatever. It's been a week already.
I know.
It seemed like this Thursday.
And we hadn't done anything.
well, you know,
We're caught up.
Yeah, we're caught up because we start doing nothing. We take a break from doing nothing, then we do nothing some more, and then we're caught up. Yeah, we are retired. We don't do a whole lot. Where you at, Miss Nancy? Tell us where you're watching from. That's a catchy little tune that we got for our channel. I like it. Trying to think, what have we done since last week? Really? Well, you
got a cast off.
You
That's
got
all
your
I
cast
did.
off. Yeah. So those of you that have been watching, and those of you that don't know, we'll just catch you up to speed. You had an operation on your foot, and she was in a cast. Maryland. Okay, cool.
Never been to Maryland.
I don't think we have been to Maryland.
I know I hadn't.
Let
We knew where you was talking about.
me think. Did I go through Maryland one time going overseas?
I don't know.
Did we stop up there? I don't know. But we were going to go up that way. See a friend of mine. Where's he at?
Name.
He's in Maine. So we would have went kind of, but that hadn't come to fruition yet.
One day.
But anyway, you got your cast off. Now you got a boot.
Now could halfway walk.
So she had the surgery, and was it 3 weeks with the?
3 weeks with the cast.
Yeah, and while you had the cast on, you couldn't put any weight on. So she had the knee scooter thing. That's a pain in the butt.
It was.
All the way around. Oh, you got to walk in. Good, Miss Nancy. Hey, Paul, good to see you in there, buddy. Okay, Mama Coop's just about finished. I'm assuming they're over there driving the trucks. Let me see. Let me see if I can catch them before they get off. We've been watching a movie this afternoon. We've been watching The Count of Monte Cristo. I've never watched that movie, and I've heard that it's like a classic. So we've been watching that. It's to the end of it, but we all right. I'm gonna I'm, I'm gonna creep their channel. That's what I'm gonna do. Is that what you call it? Let's see. Tire screen. Go there.
I'd greatly appreciate if it stopped raining.
Okay, we're watching. We're watching them drive. So it sounds like Mama Coop and Georgie. Who's doing the best? Who does the best, Paul? Who's the better driver, Mama Coop?
Looks like we're coming on of it.
I tell you what, I'm a family channel, so I'm gonna turn the sound off on their channel because they don't know that I'm doing this, and they might say something and not know that I'm sharing. But that looks like a fun game.
I don't understand. What are they?
You just drive a truck around. But I think it's more than that. I don't know, Paul. Maybe you can share some light on this. So you drive a truck, but it's like the real deal. You go in and you pick your loads and you make money based on, if you pick the right loads, you make. Somebody run off the road. Ooh,
That's Georgie.
Georgia just took out the street sign. I think eventually, can't you buy more trucks and have drivers that work for you and all that kind of stuff, Paul? I mean, I don't know for sure, but what little bit I've seen.
Oh, what time is it?
It's 7 after.
I need to
All right,
look.
so she's going to go outside. Let me show y'all what I'm doing. I'm going to take Mama Coop and them off of here. I'm just creeping their channel a little bit, having a little fun. Somebody's running off the road. Georgie run off the road and took out a sign. All right, I'm gonna stop screen sharing that. So look, I've got my little handheld ham radio. Now the frequency I've got in here, it's 437.8. What that frequency is the International Space Station. They receive on one channel and they transmit on another channel. This is the channel they transmit on. And for starting about right now, over about the next 8 to 10 minutes, they're coming over. So although I cannot talk to them on this radio, I can hear them. This is the channel that they transmit on. So if any talking comes across this, it's from the International Space Station, which I just think is kind of neat. I'm going to have it right there. And if we start, and I probably won't pick them up. I did this about a month ago when they came over, and I heard them talking a little bit. They have basically ham radios on the space station, and they will make contacts with people down here. And I think they're pretty active when they come over the United States. They're pretty active on their radio. Oh, she says it's cloudy outside. She can't see it. But anyway,
I'm a little bit. I missed the one.
I'm just hoping that we'll hear something. I don't know. Like I say, last time I went out in the backyard, and as the space station came over, I could see it as it come over. And I did hear them talking a little bit. So I'm hoping maybe tonight. I don't know. We might. That's probably them talking, but I'm just hearing static. All right, I'm just going to set it over to the side. So for the next 10 minutes, y'all might hear that static as I'm trying to listen for the space station. I just think it's kind of neat. All right, so I can still see Mama Coop still driving. She tried to hit the police car. He was coming by and she swerved like she wanted. Let me show y'all. Still cloudy. I don't know if we're going to pick it up. So this is Georgie on this side. She's finished. And this is Mama Coop over here. She's still driving. Wonder if we could go full screen. Look at that. Yeah, we got them now. Full screen.
What about the shutdown?
I don't know. Somebody said something even with the shutdown.
Nancy
Nancy said
said
that. Managed to take a walk about an hour, even with the shutdown.
Oh.
You know, yeah, we can talk about that shutdown, the government shutdown. We'll leave Mama Coop up there driving. Y'all can watch her swerve left and right and left. And I guess it's pretty hard to drive those trucks. Of course, she's doing pretty good. Oh, there she went. I'm bragging on her. I don't know if you don't have a steering wheel. Do you drive using buttons on the keyboard? Like, you know, one button makes you go left, another one makes you go right. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, Mama Coop's still driving. Maybe she'll send her folks over here when she gets through with that. You're talking to the aliens in space. Yeah, I'm talking to the aliens in space. Yeah, no, I can't. I can't actually talk to them. What I could if I set a got a different type radio to where I can listen on one, transmit on the other, or get a second one of these. But tonight I'm just kind of listening. Probably another 5 minutes. That's the frequency that they talk out on. So if anything comes through, if we hear any talking on this in the next 10 minutes, it's coming from the International Space Station. Just something fun to do. Something fun to do. Yeah, she's got 6 or 7 folks over there watching. So we got your cast off, and now you got the boot on, so you can walk, put some weight on that foot. We took the boat out one day. We went out to a local hangout. They call it an island, but it's more like just some land on the river. But we went out there and hung out for a few hours. You still had the cast on when that was going on, and
Yeah, I managed to get on the boat and managed to get off the
yeah,
boat.
she had to stay on the boat because she couldn't get that cast wet. But after about we was out about 4 hours probably.
4 or 5, yeah,
Yeah.
that was plenty long.
And
It
then
got really hot.
It got hot and got to bothering you a little bit, so we came back in. So we did that. I did some more work on my old truck this week. I put a new bumper on it. I put the wheels on, new tires on it. I refurbished the rims that were on there and painted them up nice and pretty. Put new lug nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, excuse me. I did a short
And
about those lug nuts.
And he followed the instructions
They
on
came
how
with instructions. I did the same thing, Nancy. I was, well, in the 70s, I wasn't quite old enough to do that sort of stuff. I was in high school, junior high and high school in the 70s. My dad, did like everybody. He got him a CB and put in his truck. So I played with that a little bit. And in high school, I had a little CB in my car. But I didn't get the base station and the antenna and all that stuff until a few years later after we got married. I got me a base station and I set it up. And I did that. I'm like your dad. I had a big antenna and I talked all over the place. And that's kind of what started this ham thing over the past few years. I got that old base station CB out, kind of hooked it up, and CB has gone downhill. It's a lot of foul language, and it's not as good as it once was. So I didn't really fool with that. But one of my brothers, who also did CBs back in the day, he got into ham radio, and he was telling me about it, and that kind of got me into it. So now I'm a ham radio guy, and it's a little better. You have to study and take a test and get a license, and if you start doing things on ham that you're not supposed to be, other people will turn you into the FCC, and so it's a much nicer thing to be in. And then I discovered Morse code. Morse code is still a pretty big deal with ham radio. So I've learned Morse code, and now that's what I do mostly is Morse code. Now this small little 2-meter radio is kind of a local radio. Matter of fact, they should be having a net here in just a minute. I might.
Okay, Nancy.
Next we have Bobby.
It's my foot, and yet it felt good to get the cast off, but now the foot actually hurts, if that makes sense.
So they did some work on her foot, and they put some screws and pins and stuff in there. And while the cast was on, it was immobile. You couldn't move it.
Right.
So now you got the cast off, and they took one pin out. Now you're able to move it, and it's hurting. Yeah. But you didn't have pain with the cast on because you couldn't move it.
And then another answer, Nancy. We graduated in 81.
81. That's right. So we're about the same age. We come up when things were good. We had good music, good, cool cars. The girls were pretty. Didn't have all the obesity that we got now. It was rare when we were kids for a kid to be fat. We had a few, but in a classroom of 30, you might not have but one.
Me too, Paul.
You wouldn't have but maybe one or two heavy set or fat people. The rest of the class was normal, and it's almost the opposite now. Almost all of them are heavy set, and you have one or two normal. It's got to be, what we're
62,
eating.
I think.
We're 62. Got this Social Security coming in. Whoop, whoop. We're in the Social Security club. Mm-hmm. I like it. Yeah, we like that Social Security club. But yeah, we did worked on the truck. So I took the truck for a ride today, and that was nice. So I guess we better put some insurance on it now if I'm gonna start driving it. We got a big deal going on starting Monday. It's called Cruising the Coast, and it will be in the neighborhood.
It starts on Sunday, but
yeah, well, it's kind of started already. Yeah, we had phys ed. We had to go do physical stuff. That's right. But there will be in the neighborhood of 10,000 classic antique cars down here for the next week. They'll just be everywhere. And it's several towns along the coast that close off a street in their town for these cars to park. And it's called Cruising the Coast because it's probably a 30-mile long stretch with these towns.
it's all the 3 counties down here.
And then whoever's registered and the cruisers, you'll sit at one town for a little while. You might decide, you and your friends might say, well, let's go over to, they'll crank up and ride over to another town, park over there for a while.
The same way with the old cars. They move around too.
That's what I'm talking about. It's the cars. Of course, the people can do whatever they want, but the car, you can go to one town, to the street, wherever it is that they've got closed off. You can put your lawn chairs there and sit there, and you will see different cars all day because they're constantly moving. They'll come in, park for a little while, crank up, go. Some others will pull in.
And usually they have vendors and they have
vendors
all kinds of stuff.
bands
On the
and-
streets.
oh yeah, it's a big deal. But it's called Cruising the Coast. It's usually the first part of October, like the first full week in October. And it is incredible. Like I say, last year they had well over 8,000 cars. Now you got to remember, these are the cars that are registered for the event. There's a lot of people like me or local that have old cars. I didn't register this year. Now I can't go into the closed off street, but I can go ride around in my antique. You know, and there's a lot of people that do that. They don't register and go into those areas, but they're riding around in other. I mean, things are everywhere. These cars that we saw.
The reason we didn't register is because we've got to leave.
Yeah, we're leaving on Thursday, so you know we could have done a couple of days of it, I guess, but we already had some other
But
plans.
the main thing happens.
Yeah,
Really,
the
basically,
big stuff
Thursday,
happens
Friday,
towards the end
Saturday.
of the week, and that's when we're going to be gone. But anyhow, they got something going on in a couple of days before it starts. It starts on Monday. They got something going on Sunday that we're probably going to go to. It's technically not part of the event because the event doesn't kick off till Monday. But anyway, all that to say this: look, if you're into old cars and you're close enough, you can get over here to the coast of Mississippi. Mark that down. First,
Full week.
I think it's the first full week in October every year. They've been doing it for about 20 years now, 25 years. I don't know. But it's turned into a huge event. I'm interested to see how many cars they have registered this year. I know last year it was over 8,000, and it keeps getting bigger every year. So I'm going to say we're going to hit 10,000 this year. It's going to be close. Well, Nancy, tell your brothers about it. It's called Cruising the Coast. First full week of October, usually around the 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there.
The
Yeah.
full week is changes.
Yeah. So that's a good thing to come to. And we've had like Jay Leno's been here. I can't remember the guy's name. Had the big handlebar mustache. I remember me and the boys saw him one year. He was down there. But yeah, a lot of these TV personalities you see that are doing the old car stuff, they show up for it. It's a big deal. Yeah, a big deal. Let me see. What did I do? See if I can find the picture of my truck. I'll share that with you guys. I've got it in here somewhere. I'll give you the before and after. How about that? I did one of those type pictures. All right, let me go here. We'll do that one. Share the screen. All right, there's my truck. I did a before and after picture on it this week and shared it on social media. So there's the top one. You can see what it looked like when I got it. And the bottom one is nice and painted and pretty. And it looks like it just got a paint job, but it was a lot more than that. Right there is where all the chrome went that was missing. And
Okay, Mama's done.
Mama's done. The front bumper on it was bent, so I put a new bumper on it. I had to shine all that chrome up and get it put back on. I had to order clips and junk to make that work. I took the trim off the bottom and around the wheels. I had to take all that off to paint the front grille. I replaced some of that. You know, it's been a lot.
Georgie. Hey, Georgie.
Those lug nuts, that was a crazy deal. Okay, so we lost connection there for a minute. Sorry about that. It's just the internet. We lost our internet for just a minute. I'm hoping y'all can still hear us, right? But yeah, the lug nuts came with instructions, so I managed to get them on. And what's Danny saying?
I don't know. I'll get your horse ready.
Yeah, the old truck turned out pretty. But I took it for a ride today, and it rode pretty good. I still got things to do. It's one of those I'll constantly be doing little things to it, getting it to where it needs to be. Georgie said they fall down. What falls down?
They fell down.
They fell down. Aliens flew over. Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, let me see. Can I scroll in? That's what she looks like now. That's a 1989 Dodge. It's kind of a one owner, sort of a one owner. I tell the story a lot, but you know, as a gentleman had it, and when he passed away, his wife got it. She gave it to, I think, her daughter. The daughter then gave it to the grandson, and then the grandson just kind of parked it. He didn't do much with it, and so a fella bought it from him, and I bought it from that guy. But really, the kind of the one owner was the original guy. After that, it just kind of sat. So, and it's pretty cool because the grandson follows our channel, and he's gotten to see the updates on his grandfather's truck as I'm fixing it up, and he's liking what I'm doing to it. And really, I'm just bringing it back to original. That's the original colors I painted, and I got to hone my skills a little more on painting. I painted, I guess this in my lifetime, this is about the third vehicle I've attempted to paint, and this one turned out better than any of them. So I'm happy about that. Happy. All right, so I'm bringing up YouTube. We're going to look at some current events or something. Hey, Georgie, we saw you come in there. We kind of creeped y'all's channel a while ago. I had y'all.
We saw you hit the sign.
We saw you go off the road and hit the sign. We saw that. I had it playing on my channel, but I turned the sound off so in case y'all got mad and said
he's in Illinois.
a bunch of stuff, my channel didn't hear it. But we did watch it. Here, give me some too, please. Sweet Petunia. We did watch y'all drive a little bit while y'all were over there driving. So Georgie and Paul, how was the vacation? How was the trip? You guys went up Tennessee, up around Sevierville. Did y'all see some bears? Did y'all see any bears while you were there? Bears are kind of elusive. We've been up in Tennessee several times looking for them. And then we were up in Alaska not too long ago, and we went on trips to see bears, and we've seen two. Out of all them trips we've made, we've seen two. But we saw one up in Tennessee, and we saw one in Alaska. And the one in Alaska kind of saw it by accident. We didn't, when we went on the excursion to go see some bears, we didn't see any. We were on our balcony on the cruise ship, and I was just watching the shoreline with the binoculars, and I saw one, and I called Santi and I showed her, and she looked at it through the binoculars. So that was kind of an accident there. I was just scanning the shoreline with the binoculars when I saw that one. So they're not as prevalent as you would think, and easy to spot. They're kind of slick. I did not hear the space station.
So, I mean, I don't know him, but I've talked to him a number of times.
Now, this is not the space
I'd be
station.
interested in coming over there for that.
This is just some local guys talking. They do it every Thursday, and they do it at 7:00 on Thursday, the same time we do our live, so I don't get to participate. Wah, wah. Ooh, got some sugar. Pour some sugar on me. Ba, 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 ba. All right. I guess y'all can still hear us. Y'all quit talking. What's up? I want to hear if y'all saw some bears up in
She might not be in there anymore.
Tennessee. Yeah, Georgia might have dropped out. Paul might have dropped out. I don't know. Hey, if y'all don't mind, hit the like button while you're here. And as always, any kind of super chat, you get to see my dingaling. And Danny's in Illinois. He's up there riding. We're going to work on this spelling. Mm-hmm. Oh, Paul's still here. Okay, Paul. I was asking the question, did y'all see a bear while y'all were in Tennessee? So what's the big things in the news this week since last Thursday? The shutdown's a big
That's
thing.
it.
And I don't know about y'all, but shutdown hadn't affected me. You know, they get up there and they start their junk about.
People are dying.
It's almost like what was the story about the skies falling? The chicken that run around yelling, "The sky's falling, the sky's falling." Or no, the other one. What was the other one? Where the one cried wolf, boy that cried wolf. Everybody come running and it wasn't a wolf. And then finally people quit coming. So when it really was a wolf, anyway, that's what I feel like. The stuff they say is so outrageous, and I guess they think we're ignorant.
Well, there are ignorant people that believe it.
But they tell that junk about, well, if the government shuts down, or if we pass this bill, 50,000 people a year are going to die. But you can go back last time they were saying the same junk and it didn't happen. You can go back in the, what was it? What was they saying in the, boy that cried wolf. That's right, Georgia. But they've done it enough now because the government has shut down several times. And none of this catastrophic stuff happened. And now it's getting to be just a normal thing. People don't even pay attention to it anymore. Okay, government shut down. Y'all play your little politics junk. Y'all get it figured out and pass a bill or budget or whatever.
Pass something in
the next couple of weeks.
See what's in it.
And everything go back to normal. I mean, it didn't even affect the stock market. Normally something that big would affect the stock market. Well, they've played this game so many times now. Everybody's learned it's not going to affect anything. So we don't even pay attention. And then both sides are blaming the other side. The right saying, well, they want to provide health care for illegals. And then the left is saying they want to take health care away from people, and then it's going to kill 50,000 people a year. I get so sick of hearing that. Y'all just do your job. Just do your job, Just do your job. If a civilian company had basically two halves of their employees that hated each other, it wouldn't survive. It wouldn't make it. And then you got Joaquin or whatever his name is. They've been putting those memes out there with him wearing a sombrero. He's getting his panties in a wad over that. And then Trump had them all in the office to talk to him, and he put Trump 2028 hats.
With Diet Coke.
With Diet Cokes everywhere. He put that all over his desk and had Diet Cokes everywhere.
You give one to Schumer and one to Hakeem or Jeffrey.
He's a trip, man. Look, he learned the game the first time. And then while he was out of office, they come at him so hard, and tried to break him financially, tried to send him to prison, all this junk. He's come back this time. He knows how the game works, and he's not worried about getting reelected. He's just being Donald Trump. And he's having fun. And I'm having fun watching it. Got his little hats up there with Trump 2028. Oh, another thing that happened that I'm kind of into is, Pete Hegseth called all the generals in and had his little talk with them.
I didn't see that.
I watched most of it. And I told you, now I can tell them. I think the reason he did that, and it's just my opinion, I don't know for sure. He didn't call and consult me, although he'd probably benefit from that if he did. Because I'm just, one of them smart people. I'm sure he was putting out directives of what he wanted done. And then these generals were, they're kind of kings of their own domain. They want to act like they don't work for somebody, but they do. But they were probably doing their own thing, not really paying attention to his directives. So I think he called them all in and said, I'm going to give it to you straight from me personally, right here in this room. So there's no confusion.
You can't say you didn't hear about it.
Right. Can't say you didn't hear about it. You can't say you didn't get the email. You can't, you can't say that you misunderstood. None of that. He said, I'm going to bring all y'all in a room and I'm going to personally give you my directives. And I think that's what he did. And look, I was in a long time, and that, you had to maintain a certain appearance, height and weight, and, hairstyle, facial hair, none of that. You just had to do that. And look, we go to the military base here, and man, I saw one lady, she looked like she was 300 pounds. I'm like, how in the world does that happen? And then for whatever reason, the military had a waiver for shaving. Some people, when they shave, they get these rashes and big bumps, and they can't hardly shave because they got these bumps. And it's a name for it. I don't remember what the medical term is, but there is in rare cases of this medical problem they have with shaving. So some people could go to the doctor and get a waiver and not have to shave. But if you had the beard, because of that waiver, it had to be really short. It couldn't be very much. But anyhow, I've seen over time more and more people going and getting that waiver. And now it's a lot of them. You look around, there's beards everywhere in the military, and they're just
full beards, not just
full
a little
beards.
bitty.
Now, the reason for no beard is you have to be able to wear a gas mask. And you cannot seal a gas mask if you have a beard. It's just not going to do it. So there is a reason for being clean shaven. Everybody's got to be able to wear a gas mask in case you're ever in that situation. But anyhow, he's fixing to, you can go get your waiver, but your waiver is a short period of time while you address the medical issue to get that fixed. If you can't get that fixed, then you have to find another occupation. The military request, same way with firemen. Firemen have to wear the mask, for their oxygen. They can't have a beard. It won't seal. It won't work properly. But anyway, it's part of the job. That, and, he's addressing, now some of you might not like talking about this, but he's addressing females in combat arms deal. I mean, that's, combat arms is a strenuous occupation that you have to be able to do certain things. All right, sweet Yankee Bill. I can't say that, but I'm I'm assuming that's the name of that condition. Pseudo
Folliculitis.
folliculitis. I don't know.
That sounds good.
Yeah, pseudo folliculitis.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, he's come up with combat arms. If you want to be in combat arms, this is the standard you have to meet, male or female. It's the same standard. If you can meet that standard, you can be there. So most of the military has a standard for male and a standard for female. And the standard for female is not as strenuous as the standard for male. I'm not saying it's easy. You know, don't put words in my mouth. And I've been around a lot of females in the military, and some of them were PT animals. They could smoke the guys. So, you know, those that are that physically fit and they want to get into the combat arms, maybe so. But a whole lot of them are going to come out of combat arms now because they're not going to be able to pass that physical test for that. And that gets into the whole.
Well, then they took the dresses off the men.
Oh yeah, he said no more dresses
For the men.
For men. No more men's in skirts. You know, it's a shame we even have to have that conversation. That he has to stand up there and say that. Just. I'm a firm believer that if a man is wearing a dress, the man has a mental problem that needs to be addressed. That's just me. You know, some people out there might disagree with me. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree, but you know. And you know, the women that want to dress and try to pass themselves off as a man, there again, I think there's a mental problem there. It needs to be addressed. That's just me. And y'all can get mad with me if you want to. Y'all can unsubscribe to my channel if you think I'm being mean about it. I'm not really, I don't think I'm being mean. It's just my opinion. My opinion. Sweet Yankee Bell. That sticks in my head every time I see Sweet Yankee Bell now. I served with men and women, and they were all good people. Good people. I'm proud of all of my brothers and sisters in arms. But I do think we need to tighten up the shot group a little bit. We have let our military get kind of sloppy. And we gotta bring back some discipline and get it squared away and become, you know, put our focus on being a world-class, strong fighting force. That's what they're there for. Not some social experiment to try to
make everybody feel accepted.
Make everybody feel accepted. That's right. I don't know what's happening with Israel and Hamas. I know Trump put something out, some kind of big plan to try to end that war, and everybody was on board, but Hamas. They had not heard back from them. But now I think the rumor is that Hamas said no deal. It's my understanding, I don't know for sure, but it's my understanding that Trump has basically told Israel, look, if they don't take this deal, y'all can, you know, do what you need to do. I don't understand why the whole world's getting in it anyway. You know, back in the day, if one country conquered another country, they conquered them and took that land. It's like, this is mine now. Well, why are we interfering? I mean, if Israel conquers Gaza and they want to say, this is mine now, okay. Yeah, Yankee Bell. That's another thing. You know, the military has let the females
Just put a ponytail.
have a ponytail now. You know, they are always the same way. They had to have it in a bun, you know, pulled back tight in a bun, you know, real neat looking. And most of them just cut their hair short, so they didn't have to do that. But some of them wanted the longer hair, and they went through the trouble of the bun. I don't know if I'm not okay with a ponytail. I'm kind of okay with it, but I don't think it should go down, you know, to their belt. It should be a certain, you know, like 6 inches or 8 inches. And then if your hair is longer than that, then you have to put it in the bun. And it may be like that. I really don't know the regulation, but I'm pretty sure that's a chore
I don't know.
every morning to put your hair into a bun like that. So I'm kind of on the fence about the ponytail. I think the ponytail's okay, but within reason. It shouldn't hang all the way down to your butt. You know, maybe there is a I don't know. I don't know what the regulations are, but and I don't know how much trouble it is to put that bun up. If it's easy to do, well then okay, we'll just leave it like that. Just ever pull the hair back and have a bun. But if it's a lot of trouble, then maybe you need to accommodate them a little bit. Give them some kind of option. I don't know. Yeah, I wore the black leather boots most of my career, and we kept them shined, and that was how you say, a source of pride, maybe. You know, if you had your boots really shined, you know, you made the other guy's boots look bad. I always enjoyed having the black leather shine boots. You know, I was pretty good at shining those boots. But we got away from that. Maybe they'll go back to it. Maybe old Pete will bring back the black leather boots. They got away from that. They got away from the Starks uniforms. And I don't know. When I got in, we had the old green pickle suits, what Gomer Pyle wore. That's what I wore my first 2 or 3 years in, and then we went to the BDUs, and then that's almost a racket right there. They change the uniform every few years. Well, there's a contractor getting rich off of that because the Army,
Probably
the military buys it for all enlisted.
Somebody's kin person.
Sure. And then the officers have to buy their own. You know, they're given a little bit of an allotment every year, but still, you had to go out and buy your own. Yeah, they don't give you enough. It used to aggravate me every time they changed the uniform. I had to go spend a bunch of money to buy a new uniform
That we didn't have.
Yeah, money that we didn't have necessarily. But you know.
Sorry.
And they change them like every 4 or 5. I bet you I went through 4 or 5 different iterations of uniform in the time I was in. And it cost me a bunch of money every time they changed it. I tell you what they did one time. Boy, they got me good. One time I was in the infantry, and I was wearing the old Gomer Pyle green pickle suit, we called it. And then they come out, they must have had a surplus of the jungle fatigues. They were made a little bit lighter. I remember they had the angled pockets. They had like some ripstop stuff in it. They were much more comfortable. We liked them better. And they said if you were in the infantry, they authorized us to wear jungle fatigues. Well, of course, we all went out and bought them because we wanted those jungle fatigues. We got those, and then I bet it wasn't 6 months later. I said, okay, y'all can't wear those anymore. We're doing away with those. Yep, they sure did. I'm like, well, you little sorry rascals. I done spent my money, and now you're going to tell me I can't wear them. Yeah, I used to enjoy I know it sounds crazy, but I used to enjoy doing the spit shine on the boots. I kept my boots nice. I like them that way. I guess that's time spent that you could be doing something else, but you know, it was a pride thing, a camaraderie thing within the unit. You know, keeping them a certain way. And now my regular like cowboy boots and stuff, if I want to, I can put a shine on them boots. I don't do it. I don't do it like I did my military boots, but I could. So what else is happening in the news that you guys have been watching? What has gotten y'all's attention? I don't know what Russia's doing. Russia's kind of saber rattling with NATO a little bit. They're taking aircraft kind of flying into NATO airspace or drones or different things. They're flexing their muscles a little bit. You know, and I'm looking at it, if y'all are having trouble with Ukraine, y'all don't want us. I don't know what you're thinking, but y'all don't want us. I saw a thing, I think it was today, over in, I think, Japan. They're starting to fix up these robots that are going to work like in a Starbucks. Instead of a person, it will be a human looking like robot that will wait on you, make your coffee, and give it to you. And some of them over there are not liking it. I got news for you. It's coming. It's coming. And I believe these robots are going to be to the point to where you're going to have a hard time telling is this a real person or a robot. I think they're going to make them so realistic that it's going to be hard to tell the difference. And I heard somebody else say, I don't remember if it was Elon or someone else, but talking about AI and the way AI is going, when it's going to get to the point when you call, I don't know, a pharmacy, you know, you call a pharmacy and it's going to get to the point where they give you the option of whether you want to speak to AI about your issue or you want to speak to a person. AI is going to be so far advanced that people are going to prefer the AI over the person. I hope I'm saying that right. But if you think about it, if I wanted to ask about a particular issue right now, I could ask Sweet Yankee Bell or Nancy or Georgie or Paul or whoever, or I can ask Chat GPT. Where do you think I'm going to get the most concise and correct answer from? And I'm not knocking anybody that's on it. I'm saying even if you ask me, you can ask me about something, I can give you my best answer. But I can pretty much guarantee it's not going to be as good and precise as an answer from AI or Chat GPT, one of those programs. So that's kind of already here. But he was saying it's going to get to the point where when you call to something, you know, and you have the option of speaking to a person or speaking to AI, people are going to choose AI over the person. You know? Yeah, I got that, Nancy. We say that, but you know, if you wanted to, I mean, if you had a question for me right now about anything, just something, you know, I mean, I would give you my best answer I could, But I guarantee you go to Chat GPT, it's going to give you a much better answer. Because
Or are you going to go to Chat GPT
GPT.
and look it up and then give her the answer?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go to Chat GPT, find the answer, and then answer you. Well, it's coming.
I just think I'll put my foot up.
Are you?
Mhm.
You got anything you want to say to the people before you leave?
Bye.
That's it. Bye. So
What?
I'm just saying, what has been the best part of having the cast off and the boot on? What's the best and worst part? Tell them that, and then you can leave.
The best part of having that cast off is I can walk and I can scratch my leg.
That was a big deal because it was itching that cast and you couldn't get to it.
It's kind of like torture. Think about it, it is torture. The boot, I could take it off and let my foot air out. But my foot aches more. I think it's because they took that rod out.
Mm.
I think.
Nancy, you said it gives the input, it gives answers that was input by humans. Everything that comes out of my brain was put in by a human at some point. I mean, really, if you think about it, everything that you know inside your brain was put in by a human. Maybe not by physically talking to somebody, but if you read a book about something and you learned a lot from that book, then whoever wrote that book, they just, put that information. The thing about AI is it has the whole technology of the internet and the web that to instantly pull everything from the internet and give you the best answer. Well, the internet has way more in it than any brain does. I tell you, it's kind of spooky if you think about it, because for the first time in the history of the world or the planet or however you want to look at it, we are no longer the smartest thing on the planet. Let me say that again. For the history of the world, we have been the cat's meow. We've been the smartest thing here. But now with AI and AI kind of taking a life of its own, we are no longer, for the first time ever, we are no longer the most intelligent thing on the planet. AI is. And I don't know what that's going to cause. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be the guy crying wolf, I don't want to say, oh, the world's going to, implode because of AI. I'm not saying that, but as with anything, there's a good way to use it and a bad way to use it. And people are going to use it both ways. I hope the good outweighs the bad. I mean, I use it for good stuff. Yeah, I use it for good stuff to go get information. If I'm researching something, I'll jump to Chat GPT in a minute. Several of them that here on the internet, you got on YouTube, going to it and getting it to write songs for you and putting music to it. And I mean, it's a lot of fun stuff and good stuff you can do with it. But AI is much smarter than us. So I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know where the robot thing is going to go. I don't know. I know I can't afford one. They're pretty expensive. But I wouldn't mind having a robot walking around here doing, if it would do a lot of the chores that we normally do, heck yeah. I'm okay with that. I got a, what's that thing called? Rumba. I got a Rumba I guess you could say that's a robot. You know, I tell it to vacuum the floor. It doesn't do as good as what we do, but it does some. It does okay. And then I've got the Alexa thing in there. You know, I can just wake her up and ask her a question. She gives me an answer, or I can tell her to play certain kind of music, and she plays it. And you know, I like all the new stuff that's coming out. I find it fascinating, but it's happening fast, and I don't know where it's going to go. Living in the Jetson cartoon, just about. Yep, just about. You know, they would, the phone call would come in on the TV with them. They'd turn it on, and whoever was there. But we're doing the same thing. We could do it here. We do FaceTime with our kids and grandkids, and all that. Everybody's carrying a phone around in their pocket. I was thinking about that too. All the innovations we got with the internet and the cell phones and all this stuff, they could send me back in time and it wouldn't make a bit of difference in the world. They'd send me back 100 years and I'd tell you, yeah, we had phones we put in our pockets, and you know, they'd ask me, well, how does that work so we can make that? And I'm like, I don't know. We had computers that had cameras and we could talk with each other in video. Well, how does that work so we can make it? Well, I don't know. It wouldn't make a difference in the world because I wouldn't be able to tell them how any of this stuff works. They'd hang me from a rope. He lies. Yeah, you're carrying a computer. So we're sort of, what do they call the ones that are part human, part robot? Is that they call it android, I think, or droid, whatever. We're sort of that. It's in our hand. You know, it's not built in per se, but it's in our hand and we take it everywhere we go. So we're kind of like an android now with the stuff. Yep. I was going to see, y'all know I got to bring the Bible up. There's something in Daniel. So in Daniel, you know, he was interpreting the dreams for a king. And I'm going to see if I can find it. But basically this dream, the king saw this being, this weird looking being, and I'm paraphrasing. And Daniel explained to him that basically the being that he saw was time, and the head of the being was this king and his kingdom, and then the chest was the next king and the next kingdom, and so forth and so on, going all the way down through time. So by the time he gets to the feet and down at the toes, he's at the end of time, which we don't know when that will be. I think we're close to it. But when he's describing the toes, I want to see if I can find it. Okay. So y'all know that I'm not just making stuff up. I'll tell you exactly where I'm at. So this is in chapter 2 of the book of Daniel, verse 33. Yeah. Chapter 2, verse 33. And he's describing this thing, and he gets down to me. He said, his legs of iron and his feet, part of iron and part of clay. So he's describing the feet of this being. So now you got to understand we're at the very end times. He started at the head with the king that was in charge then. And as he's going down these different kingdoms and these different things, he's going through time. So when you get to the feet, you're at the end of time. And particularly, he says about the feet, his feet, part of iron and part of clay. And some people say this is a long shot, but I think that's describing the the robots and the people. There's another verse in here I want to find, but it basically talks about, when he's talking about those feet and stuff, how, well, the same chapter, you get on down to verse 43. So Daniel 2, verse 43, it says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Let me read that again and kind of listen to it. It says, whereas thou sawest, so he's talking to the king, iron mixed with miry clay. You got to remember, in the Bible, a lot of times when it's talking about clay, it's talking about people being made from clay or molded from clay or whatever. So clay is a synonym. Is that what they call it? It basically means people. That's what I'm gathering here. So whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave to one another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. So it sounds to me like the robots, or the mixture that's people with robot, they implanted this, implanted that, all this junk we're headed towards. They're gonna try to mix with people, but they just can't. As much as they want to be like us and be a part of us, they can't, because they're a machine and we're flesh. The two are not gonna mix. That's one way that could be interpreted, but I don't know if that's right or not. That's just me reading it and looking at it and all that stuff. But it could be. That could be what that's talking about. But the point is, that's at the very end of time. And that's just one of those little things in the Bible that makes it look like we are real close to the end of time. And I hope y'all didn't listen to all that junk not too long ago about the Feast of Trumpets and the rapture was going to happen. There was people out there saying point blank, the rapture is going to happen on this day. Don't listen to that stuff. No one knows when the rapture is going to happen. The Bible is clear. No one knows. So don't listen to these. I don't want to call them false prophets. It turned out to be a false prophet. I think they're just a little misguided. I think some of them are so excited about our Christianity and our religion, and we know that the rapture is coming next, and we see all the signs that we're getting close. I think they just got overexcited, and they just really thought that's what was going to happen. But all you got to do is read the Bible. The Bible says we don't know. No one knows. All right, so that's all of my Bible stuff for tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Okie dokie. You're right, Yankee Man. It happened when it happens. I read verses on that a couple of weeks ago because all of that stuff was coming out. And I was saying, don't listen to that. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible says no one knows. Not the angels in heaven don't know. Only the Father. And it'll happen when it happens. So when they were all saying, and really it causes more damage than it does good when you do something like that. Because a lot of people out there, maybe they're not Christian, maybe they're atheists, maybe they don't read the Bible, they don't believe, and you just gave them more ammunition. When you tell them that God came to you in a dream and told you this, and it's going to happen on this day, and I'm supposed to tell the whole world and all that, and you do that, and then it doesn't happen, well, you just turn them further away. So I hate that they were out there saying that kind of stuff. Hey, I'll tell you a story. We were down in Belize one time, and we were walking the beach. We were on one of the islands out there, and we were walking the beach, and we came across this kind of, I don't really want to call it a compound, but it's sort of like a compound. It looked like a big resort area. I mean, it was beautiful, but you could tell it was empty. It had been vacant for quite some time. And I got to asking about it. And what happened was this was in, I don't know, '05, '06, somewhere in there. But it was a bunch of people, I think from the U.S., sold everything they had, went down there. They built this thing. They went down there and stayed down there for however long. I don't know how long they were there. But they had convinced themselves that the mothership was coming on the night of December 31st of 1999. When the clock rolled over to 2000, they were expecting the mothership to come to get everybody. It wasn't Bible prophecy. It was something other than that. And these people had sold everything off, went down there, and they were waiting on the mothership. So I guess on New Year's Day, January the 1st, when the mothership didn't show up, I guess they all went home. They just left the place down there. But there was also a time back in the, I won't say, it was in the 20s or 30s here in the States. Let me see if I can. It was called the Great something, the Great. I don't know. But anyway, it was back in it was a good while back, and there was some evangelist or pastor or somebody that did the same thing. He convinced a bunch of people that on a certain day, the rapture was going to happen, and people sold their homes. They liquidated and sold things, getting ready for the rapture, and then it didn't happen. So this thing that happened here a couple of weeks ago, it's nothing new. It's happened before. But people think they can get in the Bible and take this number and that number and this verse and that verse, and like it's a riddle that they can figure out. And they've been trying it since the beginning of time, and it's absolutely cut and dry, very clear. It says no one knows the day of the hour, not even the angels. So I hate it when people do that kind of stuff. Now, I wish they were right. I'd have been okay with being raptured during the Feast of Trumpets. I'll be okay being raptured tonight. It'd be fine with me. But anyhow, I'm gonna have to research. I heard about it, and it was called the Great something. I'm gonna have to find it. Maybe I'll have it for next Thursday. We'll talk about that. But yeah, a lot of people. I mean, look at Jim Jones. He took all them people down there, and convinced them that he was something, and ended up having them all drink all that Kool-Aid. And then you look at Koresh out there in Texas. He convinced them that he was something that he wasn't. But a lot of people followed that. But I'm a born again Christian. I'm a believer, and I try not to get on here and just talk about that. A lot of people don't want to sit and listen to that, but I'm also not going to hide my faith either. I'll be glad to talk about it. All right, look, we've been on here long enough tonight. Thank y'all so much for coming in here tonight. If you hadn't already, hit the like button, subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel if you like what you see. We try to do this every Thursday while we're home. We travel a lot, and sometimes when we're out of town, we don't get the chance to go live. But while we're home, we try to go live every Thursday, and we'll talk about whatever. I love it when you guys jump in the chat and talk with me. If we disagree about something, we'll be cordial about it. We'll have an adult conversation. I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to talk ugly. And I appreciate y'all being the same way, but we'll talk about anything. Sure will. Hey, we met some people on a cruise not too long ago that had a different point of view than we had, but we sat down and had just honest adult conversation, and we became good friends, and we started having dinner together every night, even though politically we were on opposite ends of the spectrum. And that's the way it should be. We should be able to talk and be friends, even though we have different ideas of how the world should go. But anyway, I enjoyed the night. I know y'all tired of listening to me. Thank y'all for being in here, and we will see y'all next Thursday. We put out a short and a video this past week, or I did anyway, about things I was doing on my truck, my old truck. So if you want to go watch those, or you know somebody that's into restoring old vehicles or into the antiques, share my videos with them. Hey, Christian, what's going on, man? WWE. What is WWE? See, if that's one of them kid things, you know, you put that, and I'm supposed to know what that means. You might have to help me because I'm old. But anyway, we're glad you came in here, Christian. We were just signing off. We've been on for a little over an hour. If you want to back up and watch all of it, we'd appreciate it. Y'all have a great afternoon. God bless you. And we'll see y'all next